When The Mandalorian premiered, audiences expected bounty hunters, armor, blasters, and a gritty corner of the Star Wars galaxy. What they did not expect was a tiny green infant, sitting in a floating pram, who would instantly become one of the most recognizable characters in modern entertainment. At first, fans did not even know his name. Officially, he was called the Child. Online, almost immediately, he became Baby Yoda. That nickname was technically inaccurate, because he was not Yoda as a baby, but it captured exactly why people were fascinated. He looked like Yoda, came from the same mysterious species, and seemed to carry the same strange connection to the Force. Grogu's reveal worked because it combined surprise, mystery, and emotion. In one scene, The Mandalorian transformed from a space western about a hired gun into a story about protection, trust, and unexpected fatherhood. Grogu belongs to the same unnamed species as Yoda and Yaddle, two of the most powerful Jedi figures in Star Wars history. That detail matters because Star Wars has always treated Yoda's species as a mystery. Their homeworld, biology, culture, and even species name have never been fully revealed in mainstream canon. By introducing Grogu, the series gave viewers another glimpse into that mystery without fully solving it. Grogu is an infant, but not in a human sense. He is around 50 years old during The Mandalorian, which suggests his species ages far more slowly than humans. This creates an unusual contrast. He behaves like a toddler, communicates mostly through sounds and expressions, and depends on others for care, yet he is already decades old and has survived major galactic events. That tension between innocence and hidden history makes him more than just a cute side character. The story begins when the Mandalorian bounty hunter Din Djarin is hired to track down and capture Grogu. The client is connected to remnants of the fallen galactic empire, and the mission seems like another dangerous job in the outer reaches of the galaxy. But when Din finds the target, he discovers not a criminal or rebel fighter, but a vulnerable child. The situation immediately forces a moral choice. Din initially delivers Grogu, following the code and expectations of his profession. Yet he cannot ignore what might happen to the child in Imperial hands. His decision to return, rescue Grogu, and break with the bounty hunters becomes the emotional turning point of the series. It is the moment Din stops being just a masked mercenary and begins becoming a guardian. Grogu's importance is not only his force power, it is the way he changes the people around him. Before his name was revealed, Grogu's silence helped build his myth. Viewers projected emotion onto his wide eyes, small gestures, and reactions to danger. He did not need long speeches to become compelling. The mystery deepened because he showed powerful force abilities despite his childlike behavior. He could lift objects, sense danger, and even protect Din in moments of crisis. These abilities raised major questions. Was Grogu trained? Was his power instinctive? Could someone so young understand the consequences of using the Force? Star Wars often presents the Force as both spiritual and moral, not simply a superpower. Grogu's abilities therefore create uncertainty. He is innocent, but he is also powerful. He can heal and protect, yet he can also act out of attachment or fear. That makes him a perfect character for exploring how power is shaped by guidance. The episode titled Chapter 13, The Jedi finally revealed the child's real name, Grogu. It also revealed that he had once been raised at the Jedi Temple on Coruscant during the Clone Wars. This was a huge piece of backstory, because it connected him directly to one of the most tragic events in Star Wars history. During the fall of the Republic, the Jedi Temple was attacked, and many Jedi were killed. Grogu survived, but the series suggests that the trauma affected him deeply. His memories became hidden, and his abilities were suppressed. This changed how audiences understood him. He was not simply a mysterious baby with Force powers. He was a survivor of the Jedi Purge, carrying buried memories from a violent era. His silence and fear suddenly had a deeper meaning, turning his cuteness into something more emotionally complicated. Grogu's relationship with Din Djarin is the heart of The Mandalorian. Din begins as a man defined by rules, armor, and emotional distance. He rarely shows his face, keeps his past guarded, and survives through discipline. Grogu enters his life as someone completely dependent on him, and that dependency changes everything. The show uses their bond to explore parenting and fatherhood without turning Din into a traditional soft hero overnight. He learns gradually. He protects Grogu, feeds him, transports him, worries about him, and eventually prioritizes him over payment, reputation, and even strict interpretations of his creed. Grogu, in turn, responds to Din as a source of safety. Their dynamic works because it is simple but powerful. A warrior who was once a foundling becomes the protector of another foundling. The galaxy is vast, but their story is intimate. At the end of Chapter 24, The Return, Grogu is formally adopted by the Mandalorian and receives the name Din Grogu. This naming detail is important because it signals that their bond is no longer accidental or temporary. In Mandalorian culture, foundlings can become part of the tribe, and adoption is not treated as secondary to blood relation. By taking Din as his family name, Grogu becomes part of Din Djarin's lineage and future. The name also marks a shift in identity. He is not only the mysterious child, not only Baby Yoda, and not only a surviving Jedi youngling. He is Din Grogu, a character shaped by multiple traditions, Jedi history, Mandalorian protection, and his own still unknown species heritage. That combination opens the door for future stories about what path he will choose as he grows. Behind the scenes, Grogu was created with a surprisingly old-school approach. Rather than relying entirely on computer animation, the production used animatronics and puppetry, enhanced when needed with digital effects. This choice helped him feel physically present in scenes. Actors could look at him, touch him, carry him, and react to subtle movements in real time. The puppet was designed by Legacy Effects, and actor Adam Pally has said Jon Favreau told him it cost around $5 million to make. 2 technicians helped operate the character, one focusing on the eyes and mouth, and another controlling other facial expressions. That level of detail mattered. Grogu's appeal depends heavily on tiny reactions, like blinking, tilting his head, reaching out, or staring with curiosity. The puppet gave those moments a tactile charm that audiences instinctively recognized. Grogu's voice and sounds were also carefully designed. Because he does not speak in normal dialogue for most of his screen time, every coo, sigh, and squeak has to communicate personality. His sounds were created from a mixture of adult and infant vocals, along with recordings of animals such as a bat-eared fox and a kinkajou. This blend gives him a familiar but slightly alien quality. He sounds baby-like enough to trigger protective instincts, but unusual enough to belong in Star Wars. Sound design is one reason the character feels alive rather than merely cute. His vocal reactions help shape the rhythm of scenes, whether he is hungry, curious, frightened, or mischievous. In a faceless, masked show led by a quiet protagonist, Grogu's expressive noises provide emotional warmth and a sense of immediate connection. Grogu was created by Jon Favreau, the creator and showrunner of The Mandalorian, as part of a desire to explore the mystery around Yoda and his species. Dave Filoni, who has long shaped major parts of modern Star Wars animation and lore, helped develop the character in early conversations. Concept artist Christian Alsman helped define the imagery that made Grogu instantly memorable. The design had to balance several things at once. He needed to resemble Yoda's species clearly enough for audiences to understand the connection, but he also had to feel like his own character. If he looked too much like a joke, the emotional story would fail. If he looked too strange, audiences might not bond with him. The final design landed in a rare sweet spot, familiar, mysterious, vulnerable, and expressive. One of the smartest decisions around Grogu was keeping him secret before the show premiered. He was deliberately withheld from pre-release marketing and early merchandise plans so that his reveal would not leak and spoil the surprise. In an entertainment era where major characters are often revealed through trailers, toys, posters, and promotional campaigns, this was a risky move. It meant Disney could not immediately flood stores with Grogu products when the show launched. But the payoff was enormous. Viewers discovered him through the story itself, at the same time The Mandalorian did. That made the reveal feel genuine. The audience reaction became organic, spreading through memes, fan art, social media clips, and word of mouth. By delaying merchandise, the creators protected the emotional impact, and that impact helped make demand even stronger. Grogu quickly became the breakout character of The Mandalorian and one of the biggest pop culture figures of 2019. The Guardian called him 2019's biggest new character, while The Hollywood Reporter argued that he represented the future of Hollywood. Those statements reflect more than popularity. Grogu showed how a streaming series could create a global icon almost instantly, without decades of build-up. He also became a key symbol of Disney Plus during its early period, helping The Mandalorian stand out as a must-watch original series. His image spread across the internet because it was emotionally readable in almost any context: wonder, confusion, hunger, fear, comfort, and mischief. But his staying power comes from more than memes. Grogu works because he connects Star Wars mythology to a universal story about care, choice, and belonging. Grogu's larger significance is that he bridges the past and future of Star Wars. Through his species, he evokes Yoda. Through his history at the Jedi Temple, he connects to the Clone Wars and the fall of the Jedi. Through Din Djarin, he becomes part of Mandalorian culture. And through his popularity, he represents a new generation of Star Wars storytelling built for streaming audiences. He appears throughout The Mandalorian, with the notable exception of Chapter 15, The Believer, and also appears in the Book of Boba Fett, expanding his role beyond one series. His future remains compelling because he is still unfinished. Will he follow the Jedi path, the Mandalorian path, or something entirely new? That uncertainty is the point. Grogu is not just Baby Yoda. He is a character designed around mystery, attachment, and possibility. If you found this helpful, please like this video and subscribe for more explainers.